Welcome to Geeks of the North, a hobby and gaming podcast in the adult purveyance. We're here to paint some miniatures and talk about the hobby, so why don't you sit back, relax, grab a paintbrush, and enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome to Geeks of the North, your hobby and gaming podcast in the adult purveyance. As always, I am your host, Paul Filio, here once again with the delightful and, might I say, quite handsome Antoine Boucher.
You're pushing it.
Eye of the beholder, Antoine. Eye of the beholder.
Sure.
You're my man crush, buddy.
Sure. Let's continue.
Don't need to be shy, Antoine. It's okay. It's okay. How's it going, buddy?
Going good.
That sounds less than convincing.
I'm just a bit under the weather, so... Nothing major. Sore throat. Thankfully, I have not lost my voice yet. It might happen. We'll see.
Usually I'm the one that I'm recording while sick. Sorry, I'm working on a model, and I went to paint his teeth and realized they just weren't there. Now I'm painting his toes, which the ends of are just not there either. So we'll just put some white dots on the ends of the knobs that I presume were once his toes, and we'll move on from there.
Good luck.
Oh no luck required. He's done. He's done as this ugly butt is ever going to get. Yeah. Pulp City, they can't all be winners.
Nope.
Right? There's
it's a style thing, too.
No teeth?
No, but some of those...
Geriatric style.
Other don't.
Yeah, I think, listen, I kind of realized what they were going for when they designed him. And he's fine. He is actually fine. He's just not what I would have done. And he's got the strangest nipples I've ever seen. But I'm painting them anyway. His nipples look like fruit roll-ups stuck to his chest. That's okay. He's a wild man, after all. Who knows what he's been doing to them. Don't get your nipples pierced, children. This is what happens to them when you get older. Tangent! Okay.
So this model is a cautionary tale.
Exactly. This is what happens when you do crystal meth and get your nipples pierced. You lose all your teeth, and you get to weird deformed giant nipples that look like fruit roll-ups stuck to your chest. Children, be warned. You know, and that last 30 seconds of conversation pretty much guarantees this will be one of our best shows ever. Just saying. At least we'll get a couple laughs out of it, I'm sure. There'll be someone who will comment on it. Because fruit roll-up nipples are a thing. You know, I limited the number of paints I had out working on my model so that I wouldn't, have 80 paints on my desk and lose the paint I was looking for. And apparently it didn't help, because now I have maybe 30 paints total in my tray, and 15 on my desk, and I still can't find the paint I'm looking for. Well, sorry, 15 in the tray, 15 on the desk, and I can't find the paint I'm looking for. It sounds like a song.
Still not helping you.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm painting a little bit of Little Pulp City Wild Man here going on. And I've also got on my painting table some blacksmiths from Guild Ball. And the limited edition Solthesian Gutter from Guild Ball.
Oh, that's a cool model.
Yes. Yeah, she's, I've just primed her tonight by hand. And I've got the Solthesian coin on my desk as well.
Coin?
That's the name of the snake, right?
That's the snake? Okay. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, it's coin because he's eating a bag of coins, right?
Yeah.
And the turtle is Lockbox, I think, or Strongbox.
Yeah, Strongbox, yeah.
Yeah, that's the turtle. So yeah, I'm painting the, at some point I'll be painting the snake. He is currently, primed. And like all Guild Ball models, there was no instructions in sight. But now I think I'm realizing that the ball that comes with this is supposed to go on top of the pedestal the snake is on. And even if it's not, I think I may paint it that way, but we'll see. I mean, I already have a cool coin model. I have the little tombstone of him.
Yeah.
Which is good because I have the undead Blackheart to go with him. Like the ghost one.
It makes a good combo.
Yeah, exactly. It looks really cool. And what else on my painting table? Little Red Riding Hoodoo from Pulp City. And, yeah, I think that's about it right now. I got a Judgment figure here that someday I'll finish. Poor Bastion.
Oh, he's not done yet? Wow.
No,
you worked on it for a long time. You started him a long time.
Yeah, I started him at Adepticon, painted most of them, and then I think I worked on it one evening for about an hour while we recorded, when we got back. Or when I got back, I should say. And then I haven't touched it since. The intention to touch it, so that was my dryer going off if you hear that buzz. Because we're doing laundry before we go on vacation in a couple days. Alright. The intention was to paint him, and paint all my Judgment stuff up really quickly. But, yeah, that just hasn't happened. I can't even tell you why. The models are gorgeous, the game's a lot of fun. Just not feeling it at the moment, so we're working on some other stuff.
Well, you painted so much so fast before Adepticon?
I may have OD'd a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. But that's okay. What are you working on, buddy?
I didn't have anything ready to go. So, and I even looked through my drawers and didn't find anything that was primed that I was inspired to work on. So, I grabbed the closest model on my table, and it's a model for Arnorix.
Oh, nice. Who is it?
Who knows? It's the character that also have a mounted version. I don't remember his name. Yep.
Isn't it Yawain?
Yep, that makes sense.
See, I pay attention.
Yep. So, the foot version, right now.
Also, I saw him on your desk last week when I was over.
Yeah, well, it's been there since
before your daughter was born. Yeah, I know.
No. She's 4. It hasn't been that long. No, I cleaned it when I cleaned everything for before Adepticon. When we painted before Captain Con, when I painted my other models. But I have 3 models left to paint. So I win the mounted version. And
on what's his name?
Dexterius.
Dexterius.
The war horse. And the last model, I don't remember its name, but that's the one that looks like Caesar with the one-armed warrior.
Yep.
So I have those 3. They're clean. They're pinned. Their bases are even painted. I painted them some weeks ago when I had the other bases I was working on. But I already had enough model to play the smallest point size, so I made a stop on them. But now I don't have anything else that I wanted to work on, and he's there, so might as well paint him.
And he's a very nice model.
Yes.
Unlike this poor guy that I'm working on. The other fun thing is that I painted this guy using a bunch of random colors for the flesh tone. Now, it's always cool when you do stuff like that, folks. But there's a lesson to learn in all this. And that's when you mix 3 or 4 colors randomly to make your flesh tone, you should probably take note of what they are.
If you want to repeat it.
Because when you chip the model,
yeah,
and then you have to correct it, and you don't know what the colors were, you appear a bit foolish. Especially if you tell everyone you did that on a live podcast. Or on a podcast you're recording, I should say, because it's not live. Man, that would be a train wreck. Can you imagine doing a live podcast?
It wouldn't be that bad, but we couldn't paint at the same time, I think. We had a more consistent flow when we were not painting.
Really? I don't know.
It's because the editing removed the white space, the pauses. Yeah. While we had less pauses when we were not hobbying at the same time.
That is probably a fact. I cannot deny that. I forgot that I edit the show every week and remove 10 minutes of dead air. Fair enough. But we're in the era of the live stream now, Antoine. Sure. Where people can play video games badly and
be paid for it.
Well, I wasn't going to go there, but certainly get people to watch them.
If you want to live stream or show, I have a camera. I can do it.
You know, like you said, since most of the time my head's down painting, it's like live streaming my bald spot to people. That doesn't sound very appetizing.
Well,
appealing.
We should probably stream what we're painting.
The paint cameras. Oh,
yeah, and not our faces.
Though I do have a face for radio. So
yeah.
Hey, I think I may have found some of this guy's teeth. It's in a place I'll never be able to paint, but it's okay.
In his back pocket or something like that.
Something like that. I'm now painting him with Style Res light flesh primer. Because that color apparently is awfully close to what I was doing for my flesh tone highlights, so we'll use that. No one will know. Unless, of course, they listen to this podcast. In which case, feel free to call me out on it when you see me at TempleCon or whatever.
Captain Con?
Yeah, that. Well, I could time travel and go back to TempleCon.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a DeLorean. And a flux capacitor. I'm in a silly mood, apparently.
It's a lot of work to show off a bad model that you talked about the podcast in the future.
You know, this is a tangent I'd like to continue exploring, but it's going to go nowhere relevant and or useful. Our time-traveling painting live stream.
The only thing you could really make work is like painting competitions. The level was really different back then.
Oh yeah, if I could travel back to the 90s and enter painting competitions, I would rock. I might not win still, but I'd definitely be up there.
Yeah, you would be known.
That's funny, eh? How the level of the artistry has changed. Like, really, miniature painting... I'm going to quote Matt DiPietro for a second. And for those who don't know, he's a very well-known miniature painter from a traditional art background, I believe. And he was the staff painter at Privateer Press for quite a while. He's his company's Contrast Miniatures now. And he kind of spearheaded and championed the whole painting style that GW is capitalizing on now with their contrast paints.
Sketch style that he's coined.
That's he calls it, yeah. And he at one point said that the best miniature artists who have ever lived are all alive today. And if you think about it, he's absolutely correct. Even people who were doing dioramas and stuff 10 or 15 years ago still did not paint miniatures to the level of artistry that we see now. And it's only getting better. Right? We're seeing all kinds of people applying traditional 2D art concepts to models and producing some amazing stuff. And, you know, as people develop techniques and show off stuff and, you know, drive each other forward, it's just getting better and better and better.
Yep.
Yeah. But all that to say, yes, if I went back in time, I could have been a painting god.
It went from probably not winning, but at least being up there, to God.
Aim high, Antoine.
Okay.
No one's ever succeeded by aiming for second place, buddy. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Oh, God. I'm tired. That's okay. I record funny stuff when I'm tired, apparently. So.
Yeah.
I should record sleep-deprived all the time, according to some of our listeners.
Well, isn't that what we do anyway?
Most of the time, because we're parents. Getting my exercise in. I love paint nights, because it confuses my pedometer in my Apple Watch. It makes it think I've run a marathon, because it's the hand I shake paint with. Like, you killed your goal today. Yes. Yes. I did burn 36,000 calories today. You are absolutely correct. God, never goes off by that much, but, you know. Exaggeration for effect is an art form. Yeah, so what were we talking about before I went all over the place for the last 10 minutes?
What I was working on.
Oh, yeah, what are you working on? Oh, yeah, sorry, you're working on... Yeah, sorry. We discussed that already. I was testing you, you passed.
Yeah, I have other stuff out, but it's all model prep and cleaning I didn't want to do that on the show. I also wanted to work on some bases, but they were not ready, so... But he's not out, and plastic art and stuff, so... Another time.
I hear you.
And there's a bunch of models I wanted to paint more than this one, but they were not ready.
But he was there.
Yep.
Sounds like my high school relationships, you know? A bunch of girls I want to date more than this one, but this one was available, so... Isn't that how high school works usually?
Oh. Okay.
It's probably safer. Alright.
What have you worked on in the past couple weeks? We were off?
Last week was off. I went away for part of the week and couldn't get things to happen.
Yeah.
Wait, no, last week I was here. I was just lazy last week or something. I don't remember. There was something we just couldn't make.
We were busy coming back from vacation.
These things happen. I've worked on a lot of Pulp City. So, I've painted... what have I painted? A bunch of models that no one will care about. So I finished the Ace of Wraith, who I think is who I was painting last podcast. And then since him, I've painted 1, 2, 3, 4 other Pulp City models. And got a good start on another. So that's basically all I've been doing.
You did some 3D sculpting too?
Well, the bases I think I already discussed last podcast.
Yeah, but not the billboard.
Oh yeah, well, that was actually done before the bases, but I don't think we ever discussed it. You're right. So I made a billboard terrain terrain piece for Pulp City, which is pretty cool. I gotta refine the model a little bit. I realized the way I'd done it was not necessarily bad, but not the optimal way to design it. So I'm just going to do a quick little redesign and fix it all up. It came out pretty nice.
Yep.
I think it'll work well. I'll prime that up and throw some paint on it.
And that shouldn't be too difficult too.
Nope, not at all. Maybe I'll weather it a little bit with some Secret Weapon Minis weathering acrylics. Throw them in the airbrush and spray some rust spots or some darker spots on it. Can't have it be all new shiny metal. It seems wrong.
Yep.
The only thing I didn't do, I realized I didn't put a frame on the back of the billboard that was showing. Like, the model's pretty low detail level for that. So I should probably add some more details there, but we'll have to see. And for what we're using it for anyway, I don't know if it really needs to be super duper detailed.
No, I think it's fine like it is. Already have a good presence by the size and the shape. So
yeah, the nice artwork you did that I'm going to print out and put on the front. So that's going to be good. And I guess I'll go into my games too. I played a few different games. We played some Pulp City, and I'll wait to talk about the last game with you when we get to your section. And aside from that, I played a little bit of Guild Ball. I played 2 games this week. One, I played the Church of Solthesius versus our buddy Chris's Miners. And I won that. That was Chris's first game with the Miners, though, and he didn't have a good grasp of the team. So I don't really count it as a victory. It was more of a learning experience for him. But fun all the same, because it's always fun playing with friends. You know, if you can play more casually.
Yeah.
And not take it super seriously. Steve. And then I played Steve. And now I'm off Guild Ball again. And I don't need to play it for another 6 months. No, I'm kidding. It's actually a great game with Steve. And we talked about it in our Guilds of the North episode we recorded tonight before this show. So I won't go into super detail. But it was a lot of fun. We're trying some new models that are going to be released later this week. On Thursday, which is the day we're launching this cast anyway. So
some of them were released on the date of the recording. Like Knuckles for the Fisherman was previewed today.
Yeah. But the Gaffer only comes out on Thursday.
Okay.
So, Thursday afternoon for us. So I can't talk about a super secret tech till then.
Ooh.
But, yeah, it was fun. I think Knuckles would be a regularly seen player for Fisherman teams going forward. He's certainly a different feel than the other fish players we have. How about you, buddy? What you worked on?
I finally finished my Primate of Mystery on his Zoltar box.
That looks amazing, by the way. I cannot say enough how awesome that base looks and how bad it makes every model I've ever done look.
No, that's not true.
It's kind of true, yeah. It's okay, though.
I'm really happy with how it came out. I find the box a bit bland, but it's a base, so it's fine like that. It needs to show up the model on top, so I think I stopped at a good amount of detail.
Yeah, I think I mean, my wife still goes on and on about how she wishes she'd married you instead of me because of your artistic talent, and how amazing that model looked when she saw it here in our game.
Mm-hmm.
True facts, Antoine. I'm not making any of that up. That's
yeah, sure.
There's a whole lot of wow, that's amazing. Why can't you paint like that? You know, can you sculpt like that? No, dear. Oh, well, your stuff is nice too, I suppose. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah. So your Zoltar box may have ruined my marriage, but that's okay. It's a great looking model, and yeah.
Not sure it was worth ruining your marriage, though. So.
Well, it wasn't much to ruin anyway. No, I'm kidding. In case my wife ever listens to that, I'm so sorry.
I don't remember if she was done during the last show, but I finished Major Luna for Aristea. I think I was painting her.
No, you were painting her. You may have finished her.
I think she was done during last show. Because I finished her before finishing the Primate of Mystery. So I'm not too sure. I'm a bit vague on that model exact finish time.
Well, time travel will do that too.
Yeah, that's it. Apart from that, I painted 3 more terrain pieces for Pulp City or any modern tabletop. I wanted some more sizable pieces, so it's 3 garbage containers. 2 more sci-fi or / like medical waste enclosed containers, and an open one full of garbage. Well, not just full.
Like a dumpster that's open.
Yeah, but
with stuff in it. Yeah,
with stuff that all goes out.
That's falling out of it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the word you're looking for.
Yeah,
sorry if I'm all over the mic right now. I'm looking for.
It's filled up to the rim. Let's say. I realized that
full to bursting.
Yeah. Bursting. Yeah. I realized that it wasn't glued the exact right way, but because of the way the casting was made when I glued it, there was no other way to fit it, and I should have trimmed a bit more to push the garbage patch a bit further into the container. After seeing a painted piece by MicroArt or by Antonicities.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so now it's kind of flush with the top, and it shouldn't have been like that.
Well, it doesn't matter.
It works too, but
it just looks like a full garbage container.
Yeah, really full. Did that. I've cleaned my other civilians, so I had a pack of civilians from Pulp City Kickstarter. I already painted the cats and the dog, but there's a small family of 4 too, and they're clean now, ready to be pinned and painted. And I did some cleaning for a Relic Knight to get my Doctrine playable before the summer ends.
Yeah, I gotta get my Relic Knights done. They're still on temporary bases and stuff. I need to paint the proper bases. I did some.
Yeah, so you started them, right?
Yeah, I have no idea how I did them though. Because they're kind of like a NMM style, a bad NMM, mind you, but NMM style. And I don't know how I did it. I'm looking at them now and I'm not quite sure how I did it. So I'm sure I'll figure it out. Someday I'll learn. I'll write stuff down.
Yeah.
But today is not that day.
Today is not that day. Yeah. And that's about it. There wasn't that much hobby in the past 2 weeks.
Well, it sounds like there was a pretty good amount.
Yeah, but like finishing the Primate it was done like a week and a half ago. So.
Well, it's summer, right? Family obligations.
Yeah, a lot of time out during the weekend, away for the pool.
Family stuff.
Biking with the kids, family stuff. So, yeah. And what little free time I had, I've been playing more, in the past few months. So less hobby. And I've been, watching a bit more TV, so. Something I doesn't do usually, but I've been watching TV with my wife, and I don't paint during that time. I only paint when I watch stuff alone.
Now, why is that? Is that because you consider it rude to paint while you're watching TV with her?
No, I'm not set up to paint in the living room.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah, when I do want to paint and watch probably something I've already seen just as a background noise, or I do that in my at my painting table with the computer. So I think that's fine like that. It's just less productive when we get into a show. So
yeah, that makes sense. So now I've started another model. I've got Solar on his temporary base, and I'm another Pop City model. I'm throwing some black primer on him by brush. I'm inadvertently going to paint the same superhero team you wanted to paint. Because it's all I could find.
Yeah, I'm switching to something else instead of working on them. So, go ahead.
What? What are you going to work on? You're not switching because I'm painting these guys, are you?
Well,
I mean,
you're painting them. I'm not switching and selling them. But I won't work on the same things you are working. We're the last, the only really too active player, so we might as well try to get stuff the other doesn't have on the table.
Oh, but don't worry about it, Antoine. Like, there's enough variety on my side that.
Oh yeah,
well, yours too, if you want. Right?
That's why. It's not like I don't have other choices. So I'm tempted by the Grim, just because I like small gribbly things. Like, anyway, with all the goblins and the animals and the other...
Yeah.
Every small...
It's kind of your household life, yeah.
But it's the only faction G has. So
again, it's the other player in the group, right?
Yeah. So we'll probably skip them or wait to have another faction. So it's probably either going to be like generic villain, a mixed team, not a faction one, but just random models I like, or maybe the Supreme Alliance.
Well, to be honest, the team I'm building, or that I'm painting right now, for my heroes, is really kind of random. It just happens that half of the random guys I pick fall into the same, like, faction origin thing, right? They're nature models. But that wasn't really the intention.
It's limited also by what you were able to get. Most of what we bought was used or surplus from other players. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do have the whole Bloodwatch team.
Mm-hmm.
But I those models are not super highly detailed, some of them, so much. So I kind of didn't... I repainted a few kind of poor models. So I need to have a stretch of a couple nice models before I go back to painting stuff that's just getting painted for the sake of being painted.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did Androida, Iron Train, Wildman, and Rosie, all in a row. So it's kind of like a poop sandwich. I gotta have good stuff before and good stuff after to cleanse the palate. So Solar is a really cool fig, and I'm also enjoying Red Riding Hoodoo, because she's also quite a nice sculpt, I find.
Yeah.
Because the Solar sculpt I have is the new sculpt, the more recent one. So.
Well, I like them both, so.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with the original sculpt either. Just this one's a bit bulkier.
Mm-hmm.
And the pose is a little more dynamic. He's not just floating in the spot, he's like lunging forward.
Yeah.
Though I think for the color scheme, I'm gonna use something from a hero that I used to buy the comic books for. A guy named Quasar, who had a costume very similar to this. And I kind of like his color palette, so I'll probably paint him like that, as opposed to the baby blue that Solar is painted in the fluff / studio paint job. Not that it looks bad in baby blue. I got nothing against baby blue. It's a very nice shade. But I don't particularly want to paint it. So, gotta follow your heart sometimes.
Oh yeah. That's what I did for Zoltar. I painted him like the one in big, and it just didn't work out for me. So he ended purple.
Purple is your color choice.
Yeah.
So, not surprising. How are we doing on time here? Only 36 minutes. We're far more efficient than I expected. That's saying something considering how much rambling we've done. Yeah, so let's talk about our game a little bit before we go into our topic.
Oh, yeah. So we played similar factions as we've played in the past months as we got into Pulp City more seriously. So again, your Red Republic versus my Ape Revolution community.
I still love that name, Ape Revolution.
We went for big games. We played 12 levels.
The game was enormously long because we were playing it while chatting and eating supper and taking care of the kids and whatever. So, a game which probably should have taken about 3 hours took closer to 5.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Yeah. And we had the time. We started early-ish.
Yeah.
Because we knew we had time for that.
Yeah. So. Which made us worse for time efficiency.
Yeah.
As is usually the case as well. But it was a lot of fun. And my wife loves the fact that I'm playing this game now. And it's the first time I've ever seen her interested in any of my miniature games at all. And my wife is a comic book nerd. And, you know, she likes comic books and action movies and stuff. So she finds Pulp City, like, super cool because it's like stuff happens on the board. You don't have to imagine it. Because, you know, you see that car it's no longer where it was. It's now upside down on top of another model or next to the model because you hit them with it.
It's on fire.
Yeah, we get the little fire tokens out. You know, and I get to use terms like rocket fists all the time.
Yeah.
So, how does that not make a good game? And yeah, we played a simpler scenario this time. Like there was less objectives.
Well, we played a main plot, but you decided to skip the agendas, which are the sub scenarios.
Yeah,
which is always an option when you play Pulp City.
Oh yeah. It was we were playing by the book. Yeah. It's my option as to whether or not we have the agendas, right?
Yeah,
because I was player 2.
Well, it's not player 2. It's just I decided to pick terrain. So you had the choice of what we were doing with the agendas, and you decided to skip them.
Yeah. So we just had the main objective, which was basically 3. If you played 40k, it's like there's 3 relics on the table, and you have to sort of grab them and get at least 2 of them back into your deployment zone.
Yeah, or at least have them under your control.
Yeah.
And there's a varying amounts of points you get depending on if you have them under your control, if they're in your deployment zone or not, etc.
Yeah.
The scenario is called The Quest.
Yeah, so, ended in a tie.
Yep.
Which really is like a victory for me against Antoine. I almost never beat Antoine at anything, so. I feel like I just did that rocky run up the steps in Philadelphia or whatever. But it was a good game. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. As usual, Silver Rager, my big monkey with the extra metallic arms, went out first. I think it happened in my last 4 games.
He is often my target of choice. I won't lie.
Yeah. Even playing with Guillaume, he was also the first one to go. So.
But he plays kind of far up.
Yeah. I think
he's a big threat.
Yeah, I should probably stick to throwing stuff instead of trying to attack with him.
Well, I leave that up to you, but personally I like it when you run up with them.
Yeah. It gives you a target.
Maybe.
And it's a better target than the little lemurs that just bug you.
Oh, those lemurs. Those lemurs are like the devil. The fact that you can respawn them.
Yeah. I voluntarily did not play them this time.
I appreciated it, believe me. That's why I didn't poison your pizza.
Yeah. And I did find that I was lacking scenario control.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they're so mobile.
Yeah. It's the fact that they're everywhere.
Well, that's just it.
And they're not worth attacking for you.
Is it a 3-point unit or 2 points for 3?
It's 1 point. They're level 1.
But you get 3 models.
3 models that all activate together. They all move and they all count as a model for scenario and other reason, like crowding out and, mobbing, scenario control.
And that is why they are BS.
Yeah.
They get no love from me.
Yeah. But my thought was, we're not going to play another control scenario, we're going to play something else this time, and we ended up playing another control scenario. But this time it was
generated, right? So
it was specific points instead of a zone on the table. I think they would have had less of an impact than when we do like quarters or stuff like that. But still, they could at least have been at the wrong place at the wrong time for you.
Yeah, or at the right place at the wrong time. Yes, they could have hindered me. Because they're quite fast, right?
They're speed 5, but because there's 3.
Well, speed 5 in this game is quite fast.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I think it's average.
Okay, my guys are just all slow then. Because most of my guys are speed 4 or less.
Well, you have the only speed 3 guys I know.
And the one guy that I have that's faster than speed 4 is Perun, who isn't even from my faction, right? It's an alternate version of him that I'm playing in my faction. But he wasn't originally part of the faction.
Well, he still counts. And your cat is fast too, but usually likes to sit back, so.
That's true, the cat is quite fast. And he's also speed 5.
Yeah, but good game. We ended up each controlling one of the quest markers, and the last one was in the open, and none of us could reach it.
Yeah, so we both lost.
Yeah. We ended up with 0 points, and there were no agendas, so a big 0-0.
After 5 hours of play. That kind of makes it sound like the game is poop. Just saying.
Oh no, the game was super fun, and there was not much left on the table. Model-wise, I had 2. And I had 3, I think.
From your initial 11, and from my initial 6.
Yeah. And there's the zone, like the middle zone, was clear of objects.
Well, we'd thrown a lot of stuff around and beat each other to death with a lot of things.
Yeah, and I started destroying stuff just so you couldn't throw it at me in the middle of the game. To stop preventing you from having munitions or extra dice with your fists, or maybe for your other guys who could use it. So
yeah, you just didn't want me picking up trucks and hitting you with them.
Yeah, so I just started shooting at trucks with stuff that couldn't reach you anyway, so at least it was not wasted activations.
That's a good point. I should start doing stuff like that too. I never think of that. You're so clever.
Well, I have more models than you. I have some pretty bad models that don't really affect you. And also I have blasts.
Yep.
So it's a bunch of reasons that means it's easier for me to do something like that. Like if you waste one of your 6 model activation to just destroy a trash can, it's big. If I shoot one of my minion into a blast into the middle of 3 or 4 objects,
and destroy them all, then it's easy.
Yeah. It doesn't matter that much.
It's a valid point.
Yeah.
It's a valid point. Alright. Shall we go into our topic and talk a little about our hobby holders?
Yes.
So, we were talking about what to discuss in the show. And we'd discussed earlier this week how the GW painting handles were actually a pretty good value for what they were, and how they'd gotten a lot of flack when they launched.
I didn't get that much flack. I think the main one that got flack was the specialized one with the pincers.
Yeah. But I saw people talking about, blue tack on the paint bottle.
Yeah.
And then we just started talking tonight about how, we never really discussed hobby holders. There's a lot of options now. Because people realize there's, a need. And I think it all started with the Wrathcore, didn't it? Wasn't that the first kind of painting holder?
First, probably more
commercial
one, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Wrathcore is a beautiful tool.
It's
wood handles and
it's the high-end one.
Yeah.
For the fancy painters.
Yeah, it is quite expensive. I don't know what price it is. Did you happen to look at that before we started the show?
Yeah, but I lost the link, so I don't have it near me.
Okay, well, buy time while I Google it quick.
Yeah, but we might as well, before we list stuff, what do you use?
I use the GW painting holders. Not because I'm a GW fanboy or anything, just because that's what I had.
They're cheap.
Yeah, so, people say fun tack to a paint bottle is cheap, and it's true. I've never really had much luck with that. I always had models shift while I was doing it, because fun tack isn't the most solid thing ever.
Yeah.
So that was never my first choice for how to paint.
Most of the time, if I do a model of a higher quality, I'm not gonna paint it on its base, which means that the Game Workshop holder doesn't work that well for me. So, like the model I'm painting right now, the Ewain for the Ironarix is on the cork. So it's a cork and it's pinned in the cork. And I have a foam rack that I did to put the corks in, so I can have multiple pieces that I can work on at the same time. But for more gaming pieces or stuff that doesn't matter, that I don't want to go super high detail, that I do paint on the base, I do have one of the Game Workshop holders, and I really appreciate it. One thing I like less about it is the spring, that being there was one in Kickstarter where you could there was a button. No, there was a button to open the spring.
Oh, okay.
Because I find that when I try to slide it in, if I slip a bit,
you can slingshot your model out.
Slingshot the model, and I destroyed a couple models or more doing that. So I'm known to drop stuff, and putting stuff into the Game Workshop holder is also a difficult,
challenging.
Yeah, challenging for me.
No, I've never done that. I've never slingshotted stuff or had issues, so yeah. I can't really comment.
I did it multiple times. So.
I've had sometimes trouble getting stuff in when it's near the maximum size of the holder.
Also, I find that the round-lipped bases are more prone to slipping out than the beveled edge.
Yeah.
And it happens even when they are into the holder, not just slingshotting, but just I'm painting after a while. Maybe the model was a bit heavy and it falls down off the holder. So,
see, for working on, I actually glue most of my models to 40mm beveled edge bases.
Yeah, I've done that for bigger
or 32mm,
models,
I should say.
Yeah.
32mm, not 40mm. Sorry, because I have a bunch of spare ones.
Yeah.
And then I just pluck them off that and put them on my round base that I've done on the side.
When I painted the Judgment model, the Orc Shaman, that's what I did. I glued a 40mm under the base and worked on the base that way. It's flat, so there's no place you can put your fingers without touching something or ruining paint. So
that's a valid point. I may actually do that because I have the larger handle.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a bunch of like dreadnought-sized bases for 40k.
Yeah.
Like the bulk pack one, so there's the round top. So I may actually do that, so I can use a larger surface and glue it to the bottom of the judgment model.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully not lose it.
Yeah. So that's mainly what I do. Some, like, for really fast model painting, like I did for the Masons for Gilbo, like the plastic ones, I just painted with the base right in my end and did some cleanup. It's not the best way to do it. It's probably the worst way to do it, really.
It's suboptimal.
Yeah.
We'll say that.
But I only have one holder, so that was the easy way to do it for me. I didn't want to get 5 other holders just to paint them in a row.
Yeah, I've got 4 of the small holders and 2 of the big ones.
And I've seen people with like up to 10 to paint units, and I think it's a good idea. If you have the spare change to do that, and you want to paint workshop style,
it's not cheap.
No. But it's on the affordable sales compared to other options.
100 Canadian or so, right?
Yeah.
Kind of and if we look at the Wrathcore, like we were talking about, it's gorgeous. It's wood and brass and cork, and it's got a holder. But it's 28 euros.
Oh, that's a good $40.
Yeah. So, yes, the Wrathcore is nicer, but it's hard to compare it, right? You're comparing a $10 plastic thing to a $40, wooden thing. It's not the same. And then you have the, another one is the hobby holder, which, I actually got given one at Adepticon, and it's kind of interesting. It's a plastic holder with a finger guard like the Wrathcore, but it's designed to use bottle caps. So you fun-tack your model down to the bottle cap, and you screw it onto the top of the hobby holder.
Or you pin it to the bottle cap, too. I've seen people do that.
Yeah, or some people, they can also put cork in it.
Yeah.
You can use cork in the hobby holder. And that's pretty interesting as well.
It's easy to exchange models you're working on while they are drying, instead of having multiple holders.
Yeah, well, you just have the top in multiple, right? And the handle, you pop the top off of.
Yeah. So you just unscrew it and put another model out.
And that's one thing I never understood about the GW ones, right? Because the GW ones, the handles screw in.
Yeah, but
they don't sell the top separately, right?
Nope, they don't. So there's not much you can do.
I think it's the same threading, I think, as a tripod.
I think so.
So, like, I guess you could photograph your stuff? I don't know. That seems weird. In any case, it is what it is. Yeah, I think the hobby holder has some neat ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't care for it that much. Because when you start looking at the top part and then plus the handle and everything, you're getting into some not super expensive, whatever. But it's like a $20 set at that point. With the handle and the grip and all that. And I don't know if it's really worth twice as much as the GW one at retail. That's just my opinion. Of course, your mileage may vary.
Well, you get the finger guard that you don't have on the Immership one.
Absolutely. But then there's another option if you know someone with a 3D printer.
Yes.
You can produce full-size painting handles with the finger guard with everything. There's free STLs to manufacture these things. And the cost in filament will be minuscule. Yeah.
If you have the 3D printer already, then it's affordable.
But nowadays, like, you can get, like, libraries have them, maker spaces are easily accessible.
Yes.
Schools have them, the technology is not like it used to be, right? It's not a rare thing anymore, so.
Yeah. And
there are a lot of viable options.
There are multiple options on just Thingiverse, the free repository.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen at least 4 or 5 when we looked, and that's at least a year ago, so there's probably more available now.
When the hobby holder went on Kickstarter, that design, I found the same design on Thingiverse.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, a 3D printed item won't have the same finish as the injection molded hobby holder or whatever. But still. Depends on what you want, right? You want
Yes.
a low-cost alternative or the fit and finish of the mass-produced consumer product. But one thing I can say is that the painting handle really does improve my quality of life while I'm painting.
Yeah.
I never really thought much about it until I started using it, and I realized, wow, that is a lot more comfortable. I have a better grip on the Mini. I'm not rubbing off as much paint by touching it, because I used to hold just the base. I never would stick them all down anything.
And you get cramp holding the base.
I never had that problem, but I can see that happening for others. Yeah.
I have that. That's one of the reasons I use cork now, longer cork, so I have something to hold onto.
Yeah.
And it's even better with the bigger painting handle, I find, but...
No, I think a painting handle is a good investment no matter what you buy. And I know a lot of people scoff at it still, but I really think it is better than the Funtac to the paint bottle alternative. Though that's certainly better than nothing.
Yeah, and at the price it is.
Yeah, it's one of those... I don't want to... This is going to sound like I'm throwing shade at GW, but it's one of those few GW products that I think is actually value priced.
Yeah.
I think at $10, it's an excellent value.
And that's 10 Canadian. That's almost, that's what, $1 US, something like that?
Something like that, 35 cents, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And the large one, I think, is 18 or 20 Canadian. So it's, and that'll hold some big models.
They also have a third one with the, movable arms with the pincers.
Yeah. So you can basically set the thing up for gluing, for the glue to dry. And use the arms to hold the parts in place.
Yeah, I have one. I find that I have pincer in arms, in mine, how do you call it? The claws? The clamps. I don't like the design of the clamps. I find that they're hard to use or to do anything worthwhile with. Especially as I do usually pin stuff. They're too small. They don't fit. You cannot fit a pin anywhere in the clamp. There's too much open space in it. So, it doesn't fit the use I would have wanted for it. But I can see just for gluing plastic for bigger models, that's probably a good option. Like for bigger Game Workshop models, that's probably a good way to do it.
Yeah, just to hold the things while the glue's setting and stuff, right?
Yeah. But, yeah.
So that's our 2 cents on that topic.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have some news? How are we doing on time? Do we have a show yet?
Well,
oh my goodness, we're at an hour.
Yeah.
We are good. Do we have a couple news topics?
Yes, we have a couple, exactly. So.
Oh, look at that.
First one. Black Site Studios, Knighthaven. It's another line of, MDF terrain. However, it's fantasy themed and it's pre-painted, so there's not a lot of those. That particular mix is not available a lot, and it's
Knighthaven,
and it's a fantasy and not historical. So the buildings are a bit more
frou-frou,
colorful. The shapes are a bit more interesting, less drab. So it's a pretty cool product. They have a whole village setting. You can get the town
really good, I think,
of Knighthaven for $280, and you get something like 6 unbroken buildings and 2 ruins, and a bunch of streets and paved roads.
That's a really good value, I think, for what's there.
Yeah.
Since just assemble and play, right? Because there's no painting involved.
Nope, that's all good.
People are going to say that sounds expensive, but MDF terrain is not cheap. 1.
No.
And 2, pre-painted, or in this case it's probably pre-printed.
Yeah.
Like Museum Minis does for their Batman stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's what I guess too.
It's really high detail, really nicely done. And you're going to save so much time on it. Like, it's worth every penny.
Especially if you have a club or something, some other people's you want to share the price on. it's worth it. Like for any more urban fantasy games, think Frostgrave, Mordheim, Relic Blade, Burrows and Badgers, and the list can go on.
Man.
It's all good stuff. And they even have a castle that's made in the same line that's compatible with it.
Yeah, it's a lot of cool products from them. I'd never heard of this company before, Blacksite Studio. They have a lot of neat stuff. Definitely worth checking out. Is this, it is kind of, Cthulhu-esque. The Arcand Crypt. Well, I could spend all day, looking at this stuff. I like the Fallout bunker.
Yeah, they have a lot of stuff. So they have, like, we've mentioned the Knighthaven, but they have other themes. They have sci-fi stuff, and post-apocalypse stuff, a bunch of options. So even historical too. So
very cool.
You can probably find what you want there for sure. The other product I wanted to mention is a Kickstarter product, a crowdfunding product on Kickstarter. It's BattleTech Clan Invasion. So this is a new Kickstarter by Catalyst Games to add clan minis to BattleTech. All their new stuff, the new redesigned stuff, were all for Inner Sphere models, but now they are adding clan miniatures.
So, and this makes me recall my misspent youth.
Yeah, that like when you get to the page, the mech that's on the box is the Mad Cat or Timberwolf if you're a clan on the clan side, and that's the mech that made me look into the game.
Yeah, that was the Mad Cat was the iconic clan invasion mech, right?
Yes.
When you think of it, that's the one everyone thinks of.
Yeah.
Because that was like the most unique design. I think a lot of the other ones are just redesigns of, like, modernizations of Inner Sphere mechs.
Yeah, and even then, that one is a kind of a mix of other mechs. Yeah. But just that mech, most of the especially the miniatures were really not that good.
No.
When it came out. Even clan stuff, but I always found that the Timberwolf had a slight edge of quality compared to the other ones, because it's so iconic. That they put more time on that one, or it just looks better. It might just be that I like the overall shape of it better than the other mix. And still today, like one of the only reason I've not pledged to get it is there's only one Timberwolf in the box. I couldn't get more than one.
I've never heard it called a Timberwolf before.
The Mad Cat is the inner sphere name for it because it looks like a mix of a Marauder and a Catapult. Timberwolf is the clan name for it.
I did not know that. And I played a lot of BattleTech back in the day.
But that might have been in
later, maybe
later fluff or stuff like that, so I don't know. I know the two names for it, but I'm not versed into BattleTech lore at all. I just know from glancing at it, so I never really got into it. I liked that mech, and that's about it. I did play a bit of the MechWarrior games and stuff like that, but never more than that. If you want to get into the game, you can pledge. I think the first pledge with miniatures is... Well, the first interesting pledge with miniatures is $50. That's the Star Commander. You get a Clan Invasion box set, which comes with 5 miniatures, including that Timberwolf. And the box comes with everything you need to play. So you don't need to get one of the regular starters to be able to play. You can just start with that. Right. And that's $50 US. After that, there are a bunch of options. There are extra box like heavy mechs and common mechs and everything. So you can get further boxes and special dice and add-ons and stuff like that. They also have new plastic mechs for the Inner Sphere, not just for the clan. So, lots of options. The Kickstarter just started at the end of last week. They are now already at $900,000.
Yeah, with 26 days to go.
Yeah, 26 days at the time of recording.
They had a $30,000 goal.
Yeah.
They're at $900,000 US with 26 days left. So I think it's safe to say this Kickstarter will be successful.
Yeah.
Unless the total economic collapse of the US happens in the next 3.5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Barring that, though, this should be successful. That's awesome. Everything old is new again, right?
Yeah. I'm not really tempted to play the original game, but the Alpha Strike faster rule set, maybe. So,
well, you don't want to fill out your little sheets with the circles?
It's not that I don't want to do it. I find it interesting. It's just the game is long to play.
Yeah. I used to be a bit of a BattleTech master.
Oh yeah.
I went for. I spent more time in Cégep playing BattleTech than actually going to class. So, I had an undefeated streak through Cégep.
And were you doing custom mechs and stuff like that?
Nope.
Nope.
I always played the same mech, which was the Awesome, which was an 80 ton or 85 ton mech with 3 PPCs and 28 heatsinks. But it only moved 3. So it was slow and steady, but 30 points of incoming damage every shot really hurt. Oh, the good old days.
Yeah. So some players locally have started to get back into it with the plastic boxes. So
it takes so long. It's so long to play a game.
Yeah, but they mostly play the Alpha Strike variant, which are faster. So.
Well, it's not hard to get faster than the original BattleTech, right? Because original BattleTech, we played like duels, almost like 1-on-1, or a 3-man, a free-for-all or whatever.
Yeah.
Or maybe a couple mechs each. Like do a combined tonnage, 175 tons or whatever. So you'd have like 3 to 4 mechs. But like the games would take forever. But because it was on a hex map and stuff, it was much cleaner than modern miniature games. There was less left to, can I see it? Can I not see it? Count the hexes. You're in range. Is there a hex that has something in between?
Yeah, it's a mix of it was more on the board game or war game side, like to the encounters. But so
like
that's
one of those old SSI games, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Tank Commander. Anyway, yes, this has been fun. Let's do this again next week.
Yeah. Before we close, there's one thing we want to mention. Well, we don't want to mention it, but Yom forced our hands. And we're...
well, I don't want to mention it, because we're cold-hearted bastards.
Yeah, no. It's a good thing to mention. Once again, this year, he has painted for the Nova Open Charitable Foundation. They do painting raffle. This year, he worked on a Monsterpocalypse 2-player set. He painted the, I think it's Gorgodra, the name? The Planet Eater monster.
Yeah, big monster thing.
Yeah. And you can get, what you get is a full playable list of Planet Eater versus a full playable list of guards. It's a bunch of painter work on it. You can get tickets until the beginning of September. We're mentioning the Monsterpocalypse set because Yom worked on it, but there are a bunch of other stuff. So just go to the Nova Open Foundation website, look at the list of raffles, and there are always amazing stuff. And you can help them, help people, and get some cool minis if you're lucky.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think they change who they're sponsoring all the time. Like the different raffles sponsor different organizations. It's all non-profit stuff. And, it's all for a good cause. Children's hospitals and the like. And who doesn't like children's hospitals? Aside from perhaps sick children. Ironically enough. Yeah, so it's a good cause. Go and support Yom. Go and support, gamers doing something good for other people.
We'll have a link in the show notes to the NOCF.
Ooh, acronyms.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
And that's all.
Yeah, I've successfully primed like 3 models during this whole podcast. Look at me. These are very expertly primed. I ain't gonna lie. Alright, Antoine. I'll see you next week then?
Yes.
It was a pleasure as always, sir.
See you next week, and bye, geeks.
Thanks for listening to Geeks of the North. If you want to contact us, you can email us at geeksofthenorth@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/geeksofthenorth, or follow us on Twitter at Geeks of the North. You can follow me, Paul, at PRFilio, Antoine at Eltonio Berg, Steve at B_Steve, and if you really feel the need, I guess you can follow Yom. He's at Yomasta. Breaks and outro music by Ladrave. You can listen to them at ladrave.bandcamp.com. See you next time, geeks.
Thank you for checking out a United Geeks Network family member. If you enjoyed it and are looking for other online media with a geek culture slant, head over to UnitedGeeksNetwork.com, where you will find All Us Geeks, a podcast that discusses board games, movies, television, comics, Kickstarter, and many other forms of geek culture. The United Geeks Network. You can broadcast your geekiness at UnitedGeeksNetwork.com.